Hi folks, another typical Saturday. I'm in my garage, I'm screwing around, I'm learning, I'm tinkering, trying some new things, getting some maintenance done. That's my 53 Chrysler there. It's currently out of the garage because I need space because I'm working here where it normally parks in the garage. And today's topic is about education, teaching yourself. How to maybe look after these cars, where to get good information. A lot of people today, a lot of younger generation with the advent of social media, they jump right to groups on Facebook maybe, or forums, internet forums, and they all have their place. With the world becoming more and more digital, and internet-based, computer-based, people tend to jump there first, or maybe have less books. Maybe people are getting rid of books. I hear about people donating books or burning books, and I think that's a terrible thing. That's a big mistake to be burning books. I'll get into that in a second. And I think I put value on the internet. You may see a stack of books sitting on my car there. We'll get to that in a second. There's value on the internet, sure, and there's helpers on the internet. I help a lot of people. I enjoy it. But I guess I want to encourage people to help themselves more. I want to encourage people to understand and read, educate themselves. Not only do you read, but you also get your hands dirty and you do things. You learn, and then you take things apart. It's almost like a lab, You go to school and you read about things in science, and then you put the books down, and then you go and you apply maybe what you learned in a book in a lab. And this is my little lab area. It's not great, but I like to buy spare parts. I got a bunch of them sitting under there. There's a manifold there, heads. I got a spare engine. I got clutch. I got a starter under there. I got a spare tranny over there. Carburetors. Parts I've replaced. I don't want to throw them out. You never know, Maybe I'm not a hoarder. I got a fair bit of room here. I do get rid of things. Look at that. A semi-auto tranny that I tore apart. An engine that I tore apart. A lot of this stuff is interchangeable. Connecting rods. I guess what I'm saying is, when I'm helping folks out, I'm not a master mechanic, obviously. I'm not an expert. But I research and I read and I try and I study and I put my skills to work. I seek to understand. Back in my early days, I might swap parts, just to try and fix a problem. Just throw parts at it till it goes away. That doesn't always work. It's not cheap. Especially when, the world we live in today, we're not all millionaires. We got to work hard for our money. Put your money to work for you. Use it smartly. Use your brain. Teach yourself things. I'm only just showing you this distributor here because that's going to be a future video. I was thinking about doing a video on distributors because most of us have all changed points and condensers. But that's about as far as we go, right? We might set the points, but I wanted to go deeper and understand the distributor. So I started to take one apart. And I decided to do more reading because I had lots of questions and I wanted to understand it better. And then I thought, I'm going to research this further, teach myself more things, and then I'm going to do a video to help others. So I thought, we'll get to the distributor later. We'll get to that in another video. But let's talk about supporting media, supporting yourself, support manuals. Here to help you educate yourself so you can look after these wonderful cars and keep them on the road because they're fantastic. They're so much fun to own and work on. But if every time you want to do something, you run to the internet and ask a question on Facebook, man, I see it all the time where people are just throwing out ideas. My car ran yesterday, but now it won't start. I need to change to 12 volt because the starter's slow. No. You don't need to rush and do these things. And when you ask these questions on Facebook, there's good people that want to help, and I go there and I help people too. But you're going to get, sometimes you'll ask a generic question like, should I go to 12-volt system? You can get 100 responses from everyone's opinion. And they don't always tell you the facts. You just get someone's opinion. You should read, educate yourself, and form your own opinions, and understand how a system works, so you're not just, like I said, throwing parts at it or running to the internet or running to Facebook every time you have a question. So I guess the book stack I have there would be mainly around my 1953 Chrysler over there. I have books from my 1938 as well, but I just grabbed the stack that I run to when I need to educate myself further. Let's go through them. I got this book free. Fantastic. Automotive Fundamentals. Not huge. Written in the 50s by a bunch of engineers. Goes through all the systems of a car. Highly recommend it. Easy reading. Like, man, this is the fundamental, the basics. You got to understand the basics. This is going to do it. This is a really good book. Recommend it. I've had it free. By Frazee and Bedell. Find one. Get one. There's another. This is a big book. This is my Dykes Automotive and Encyclopedia and Gasoline Engine book. It's thick. There is a ton of information here. Dykes was an engineer. He's a smart man, and he came out with these manuals. And I think he started about I can't say, 1920. Then every year or two, he'd come out with a new manual updated because cars were constantly changing. So I bought one a little further along. This is about a 1940 to 1942 print. It's a 20th edition. So yeah, 1920, 20 years later, 20th edition, 1940, that makes sense. And because this was better suited to the cars I own. No, my 1938 here. It's going to have the stuff in here that educates me about my cars in 1938. And it is a huge, it's almost like a tome is the word. A tome is a massive book. It is so in-depth. There's so much information here. You can go back to acetylene lamps in early brass era cars, right up to what was going on in 1940, and it goes through everything. It even teaches you how to build a shop, how to run a garage in the 40s. It talks about tractors, ignition systems, starters. There's a special section on Model A's, combustion chamber design, valve sets, and not only just how to set the valves, but like you're going to learn every little thing about what valve timing does and how it affects the car. Fantastic book. The basics are here, from T-style engines to F-heads to L-heads to overheads. Unbelievably good book. Get one. If you don't have one, start reading. I've gone through a lot of this. This was, I don't know, I felt like a kid the first time I went to Disneyland when this book showed up in the mail. And I've been reading it ever since. I go on vacation sometimes, and we'll bring books, we're sitting on the beach relaxing. I might bring this. I've brought this, and I'll read it. I'm always learning. Okay, so for my 53 Chrysler, I missed the original shop manual. I didn't bring it out. It's in the house. I have the original 1953 Chrysler shop manual. It's pretty thick. It's as thick as this. I also have the parts manual. This is a 1953 parts manual, and it breaks down illustrations of all the part numbers that are used. Like I'll go to the section, the beginning of each section, the instrument clusters is in this group. Starting motors, distributor. Oh, look at that. There's the distributor on my bench. 6-cylinder distributor. How it is assembled, a breakdown, and part numbers. These are fantastic books. Not only can you get original part numbers and you can search for parts on eBay or wherever, but you can look at how things are assembled. Highly recommend. I think I paid around $30, $35 for that. Then there's the motors manual. So I have the original Chrysler manual. I have the parts manual. I also have a motors manual from this era. This is an aftermarket company, kind of like Climber manuals today. This is the one from 1957, but it spans numerous years. And because my car's in 1953, I bought this manual from 57. It covers all the manufacturers, and it's excellent. There's all the different manufacturer sections. There's generic sections about if you want to study how to do a compression test, or how distributors work, fuel pumps, generators. Not only is it educational, it's factual on what you need exactly for your car model, but also generic information. Again, some of it's basics, some of it's advanced. It's excellent, really good information. This is almost necessary to supplement your original shop manual. The original shop manual is built for mechanics who work for Chrysler, or maybe a dealership. They expect you to know a lot of things. You're already at the dealership. You're probably already a journeyman mechanic. You know, they skip some stuff. So this book is more for the home-based mechanic or the self-taught hack or whatever, like myself. Good manual to own for your car. Another one I recommend highly. Okay, so this last manual, this is a really good one. So I have my specific Chrysler manual exactly for my 1953 Windsor Deluxe, but I also have this. This covers all 1953 and 1954 Chrysler Corporation of Canada cars, like lots of models. My Chrysler C60-2 is in here. You got Dodges from the era, you got Plymouths, and you got DeSotos all covered. This is a thick manual, very thick. This is excellent to own too. I picked this up off a guy, I think I paid about $75 for it. It's been invaluable as well. Wiring schematics. You know, I can compare stuff with this manual. I can compare different cars from 53, 54, and so I can look at other parts and maybe see if they're interchangeable. It helps me for that. I help people on the internet. I want to scratch my head a little further and someone has a question I don't know the answer to. I might run to my book and learn it, understand it, and I've helped myself, but then I can help the other guy if I want to. I may choose not to, or whatever, if the question's already been answered. So that's just some of the stuff that I have to teach myself how to look after my cars. Read, and then wrench. Then read some more, and go wrench some more, and just keep at it. I've had a few younger guys come up to me lately. They've seen my car, and they like it. And they're just like, whoa, you know, look at that Chrysler, holy crap, right? And they're like, are you a mechanic? I'm like, no. And they kind of are stunned. I said, no, I'm not, but I do things myself, and I've taught myself, and I've been doing this now since I was about 16. I took a hiatus for 20 years while I had kids and raised a family. Now my kids are growing up. I got more time. But the point is, it's a lifetime of experience. I'm extremely respectful of mechanics who do this full-time for a living. Doesn't matter if you're a young kid today that's in a mechanic shop that's learning. I respect that. You got a lifetime ahead of you, or you're 70 years old and you've wrenched your whole life. Man, I totally respect that. You guys, just a knowledge of information. Not all of us get there, so we have books. So that's my lesson for today. Read and go to social media, but help yourself. Learn how to do things. Understand the basics. You will retain the information, and you will learn, and you will become a much better mechanic, and you'll quickly be able to diagnose and troubleshoot problems because you understand the basics. So there you go. Do not burn those books. Buy them and store them. They're invaluable. There you go. Have a good one.